It's so fascinating. It's just not what you'd expect, you know? I'm used to the Max Martin version of early 2000s pop that's so polished. And this has like a rougher quality, and I like it. I like that rougher quality. It just throws me off. What's up, friends? My name is Kevin Basset. I'm a musical artist and producer. So I recently checked out Pixar's Turning Red. It was a good movie, and I enjoyed it. The music was really interesting. Ludwig Göransson did the score, and there was a really interesting mix of kind of electro pop elements and traditional Asian elements, and they had just a really fascinating fusion. So I think he really killed it on that score because it was a good representation of what was going on in the film. There were original songs written by Finneas and Billie Eilish, with Finneas performing them with a group that he created for the film and that Pixar created for the film called Four Town. One of these songs was an integral part of the film. It was sung badly quite a few times and then performed by the Pixar manufactured boy band Four Town. We're going to check out Nobody Like You and talk a little bit about what's going on production-wise in the song. It's trying to emulate boy bands of the late 90s, early 2000s, which was a very hot era for boy bands with NSYNC, Backstreet Boys. New Kids on the Block was kind of fading out, 98 Degrees. And I think Finneas is an interesting choice as a producer of this type of group.
I never met nobody like you. Had friends and I've had buddies.
Those kind of harder keyboard hits at the beginning, as well as that telephone vocal, are interesting, very appropriate to the type of song. There's this percussive feel that still feels very Finneas, so he's going in that direction, but not losing his sense of self while going about it. That bass line's really involved. I think that bass line being so involved is another aspect that is very non-traditional for this type of song. You normally don't hear a bass line that's goofing around and popping that much in that early 2000s era pop. But it's very Finneas. He has really interesting bass lines in a lot of his music.
I'm never gonna let you cry, oh cry, don't cry. I'll never not be alright, oh I'll die, alright.
I think those harmonies are one of the more interesting parts of this song because Finneas' music is known to use a lot of harmonies in a very interesting way. I would say that's one of the hallmarks of his production style is the way he approaches harmonies, letting a differentiation in consonants stay. The consonants are a little more played than they would be in an early 2000s pop song, but he is catching that general sensibility of having a very hook-driven chorus. Honestly, a lot of hooks in just that chorus segment. So, in that sense, very appropriate. Something about that keyboard sound, too, it feels like darker than you would expect for this genre. But it's cool. Like, it's weird because it isn't the traditional 2000s pop sound to a T. It's that through the lens of Finneas, which creates something that I think is pretty fascinating. Click.
Them city streets. Tonight is the place to be. Got a big boom box and a new CD.
Come on, everybody, let's tear it up. If you want mad skills, you can share with us. I want everybody to stop and stare, and you know why it's me.
Those gang vocals are so interesting. You wouldn't hear gang vocals like that on an early 2000s. That's another part of it that's just really different. I'm just remembering when Harley and I were working on this latest EP that we're putting out, Gonna Make It. which I have a pre-save link in the description and comment section, we paid really close attention to making sure that the consonants didn't interfere with each other on those harmonies and on those gang vocals. So it's so fascinating how Finneas almost like wants them to get in the way a little bit. It's a fascinating approach. That bass line is so sick in the way it pairs with their vocals, and the way the vocals aren't too excited feels so good. It reminds me of a lot of the early Billie Eilish material off of her album When We All Fall Asleep, Where Do We Go? Very cool bass line. I really like it.
I'm never gonna let you cry, oh cry, no cry. I'll never not be alright, alright, alright. Like you.
That pulsing synth at the bottom is cool. I like it. It's so interesting. It's so fascinating. It's just not what you'd expect, you know? I'm used to the Max Martin version of early 2000s pop that's so polished. And this has like a rougher quality, and I like it. I like that rougher quality. It just throws me off. It's weird hearing those influences combined. I would have never expected it. I think that's what's so interesting about this track. And I mean, if they wanted to perfectly emulate that early 2000s style, there's a wealth of K-pop producers that could do a very polished sound, and there's Max Martin and Johann Schellback who could easily have done this. They're very expensive, but still, I mean, Finneas is going to be very expensive as well, so lots of options. So it's interesting that they chose Finneas. I think he's maybe not the first choice, but he's a good choice.
Like you,
Incorporating the scratches that you'd expect in early hip hop.
like you.
That synth is cool. I really like that background synth. There's like eerie sound to it. So interesting, so fascinating. Click.
The way you do, I never met nobody like you. You never know on my mind, oh my, oh my.
I think that section is just so reminiscent of, like, you know, New Kids on the Block, 98 Degrees, their style of, you know, doing a little bit of beatboxing. It's cool too because that's adopted into the film, you know, at certain points. Miriam will start beatboxing. The gang of girls that surrounds Mei Lee will all start getting into this song. So it's fun that it's in the actual track.
Your side, your side, your side. I'm never gonna let you cry, oh cry, don't cry. I'll never not be alright, alright.
It shows a healthy respect for the genre in question, for that early 2000s boy band pop, while adding its own flair to it, you know, doing things that are very Finneas. And so, in that sense, it's cool. You know, owning up to who he is, appeasing his own fan base, as well as those who may have seen the film. Hope you've enjoyed this short take on the boy band Four Town from Pixar's Turning Red. Make sure to like, comment, share, subscribe. Pre-save our new EP, Gonna Make It. Links in the description and in the comments section. I've got other music to check out too. I think if you like this, you'll like what I've done. It fits that vibe. That's it. Catch you on the flip.
The birds, tuppence a bag, tuppence, tuppence, tuppence a bag. Feed the birds, that's what she cried.